the image of a leader is often falsely portrayed. We often think of these leaders as physically attributes, such as big, strong, fast, quick, and oftentimes that is false. We think of leaders always being successful, always winning, and never losing, and we know that is not the case. For me, I've looked at a lot of games, looked up to a lot of men, and I've noticed and formed my own definition of what I feel that a leader is. A leader is someone who sets a direction and focuses on that and gets others to follow them in that direction and motivate them to be bigger and better at whatever they're doing. There are a lot of different types of leaders. You have non-vocal leaders, you have the very loud and vocal leaders, and then the ones that just do their job and just look up to them. For me, I like the ones that lead by example. One that can motivate you to be better. One that can show you the right steps and the right placement and put you where you need to be so that you can be successful. Often, you have to be able to work in different types of situations. You have to be able to work in groups, one-on-one settings, and be able to work as a team. But the other thing is, you want to be able to make sure you work efficiently. Make sure people are able to follow you and make sure you're doing things step by step so they can understand and know why you're doing what you want to do. For me, in finding the right leader, respect is everything. You don't always have to like the person, but you do have to respect them for what they can do, what they're able to do, the way they talk, and to realize that they're doing this to make you better and to make the group or the process become easier for them. As an athlete, I look up to leaders, I look up to players, and I look to my teammates for them to motivate me to make me better. This past year, I played for a team while I sat and watched the team here at Culver Stockton. The basketball program went 1-29, and that was rough for me because when I wasn't able to play and I wasn't able to be that motivator and that leader to tell the guys, hey, let's get a win, let's knuckle down. And for me, it took a chance for me to step up and grow and become even a more leader in my vocal, being able to tell a person, hey, do this, say this, but not always say it in a mean way, but want to motivate them to be better. Being a leader contributes to a lot of attributes. You have to have the physical characteristics, you must have the right role models, and you must be a male-oriented man. As a student athlete and the oldest child in my family, I've realized the responsibilities that come with being a young man and being in sports teams and being in a family that has all these different things to make them go better. The leadership teams. These group members respect you because of who you are and what you bring to the table. But respect is not earned, but given. You have to be able to perform and perform efficiently. And often that is what people look to for those great qualities in leaders. These traits often must be influential and be inspirational. So being influential, that means anything from being the way you maneuver, anything from your gestures, to anything you say. The inspiration can be anything. The inspiration can be from a story. The inspiration can be from something that happened to you. And the inspiration can be the way you use to motivate the people that you're around to get the ultimate goal that you're going for. And a lot of characteristics that come through all come from things that come from your intelligence. High energy, self-confidence, dominance, tough-mindedness, and boldness. Those last two, tough-mindedness and boldness, are two ones that I stand by and realize those are two things that can push you further in life. And I look to see someone in my life that was influential like this. I often like to look at things in the Bible. Me being a Christian, I always look at those inspirational things to motivate me. And one of the most influential men I've seen as leaders is the story of Moses. As we know, Moses was an Israelite and left his people. During that time, the people were captured by slavery. So what he did was he came back to rescue his people, and he came back to take them to freedom. But what he did was miraculous. What he did was he led his people against the revolt of the Englishmen, and what it was so significant. With one staff, he was able to, boom, puncture into the ground, and as we know, the Red Sea was once captured and parted, where him and all of his men and the people and families that he came back to rescue would be set free. After he did that, his life went down in history, not just because of what he did, but how he did it, and the leadership that it took for him to come back, rescue his people, and then set them back free. For myself, I take that in pride, and I love to look at the people who are influencing and do things to make sure others are safe, to make sure others have more, and make sure others can do more. Like I said, you always want to be successful in your inspiration and the way you influence people. Being a leader is stepping out of the box sometimes and doing things you weren't always aware of what you can do. And a lot of times that comes with knowing who you are and knowing what you're capable of doing. Your role models, knowing who to look up to and the right people. My parents always asked me, who do you hang around? What are you watching? What are you listening to? And how does that influence you? Your people you surround yourself is everything. Because you want to surround yourself around people who are moving the same direction that you are in whatever you're doing. One of my favorite motivators is the athlete LeBron James. At the age of 18, he was drafted into the NBA, and by the age of 21, 3 years later, he led his team to the NBA Finals. Now you may see a young man at 21 years old, the age of some of us right now sitting in these seats, was able to take his team full of grown men to the NBA Finals. For people on his team, he said it wasn't easy for them to submit to him because they realized what it took. They realized the toughness that he had, and they realized this man had something in him, and realized that light that had reflected on him was able to carry, and it carried his team all the way to the finals. Often we must think the most talented person must be the one who was the leader, and that's not true. At this time, LeBron wasn't the most talented, but he did have the best vocal attributes, and he was able to motivate his people. One of his teammates, Chris Bosh, said, LeBron was so good because he had high energy and his intelligence. That high energy and intelligence made it easier for us to submit to him, made it easier for us to follow him. So when he said something, we all agreed and we believed it, we followed it, and made sure the plan was set and the plan was conquered. One of the most LeBron James quotes that he said, you can't be afraid to fail. It's the only way you'll succeed. So as we realize, not all the time he was famous, not all the time he was the person that he was, and not all the time that he succeeded. Just last year, LeBron did one of the most influential things that's ever been done in the game of basketball. He came back from a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals to a team that had the best record of all time. This all-time record only meant them losing 12 games out of an 82-game season. And LeBron took a team that lost 3 games back-to-back and ended up taking them to win the series and ultimately being the NBA champion. As he said, you can't be afraid to fail, because failing is the only way you really know how to succeed. Being a leader starts at home, and for him, he believed it always started for being the man he was, by his mom raising him and being an and he's most proud of being a father. And to me, that was something that stuck with me and led to one of my other points of being a leader. And that always starts with being a family-oriented male. Being an oriented male doesn't always mean you have to be superior, but it does mean influence and having the self-confidence to hear what you're doing. One of my favorite scriptures is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me. And my father taught me that. My grandfather taught me that, and my brother taught me that. These influential speeches was something that stuck with me and something I take in my everyday life. I looked up stats about single mothers and fathers. It said that 83% of single mothers right now are single. 49% of them have never been married, and out of that 83%, half of them live below the poverty line. So, as a young man, how can those numbers motivate me? Well, one, it can make me be a better father, make smarter choices of the women I choose, who I choose to lay down with, and the choices I make now will affect me in the future. Having male figures in my life was something that made me the man I am today, motivate me to go to school, motivated me to get an education, and motivate me to be better than what my father says he is. For me, my father said he always wanted to set an example, and as the head of the family, that is what their job is, to set an example and be the difference. I always benefited from having a large family because it always made sure people had my back and never was to do more. Being a leader means involving many attributes, but one, you must have leadership traits, have the right role models, and be an oriented man. As I said, Moses and LeBron were two people I looked up to, and the reason why. I want to leave you with a quote. It says, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. So by using those 3 means of knowing, showing, and going, we all could be the leaders that we are today. Thank you.